Hi, I'm Pamela Chabora. This is my first person narrative sermon on the verses Matthew 18:21 through 35. You started talking about forgiveness. Well, that's all well and good. But you go through what I've gone through in the last 3 years and tell me to forgive 70 times 7. You can hold all those God words up you want, but this is real life, right? Words don't put food on the table. They don't put a roof over our heads. And they don't warm me up when I'm in Payson Park, walking around at 3 a.m. because I'm exhausted and I can't sleep. My story? I thought it was all over the front page of the Herald Times. Everyone's seen it. It's on the front page. Oh, you want my side of the story? Well, finally, someone's asking for my side of the story. All I can say is I was the last one to know about my husband's underhandedness. The wife is always the last one to know, right? And you say, forgive. I really didn't know that he was in trouble before it was too late. I mean, he's always so private. I never even had a clue that he was digging a hole for us before this all just fell out. We've both been off doing our own things and we fell out of talking to each other. I should have known this was coming. He has a history of this crossing the lines. I mean, I was his student, when I first met him and before we were married. But I didn't know how far he was willing to go to get revenge, to get what he wants. So when I found out that he was so close, actually so close, to losing his job 3 years ago because he had not met the tenure deadline, the application deadline, I was stunned by the grace that he received from his chair, John Miller, chair of the Political Sciences Department. John offered him an extension of 6 months to get that tenure application in place, to put together his dossier, to get that article published that Raymond has been working on for years, and even found $10,000 development money, and he offered to give him a paid sabbatical for 1 full semester. I mean, that's amazing, this forgiveness that he received. What I didn't know until after all of this fell out is that at the same time, Raymond's teaching assistant had come forth with a complaint for sexual misconduct and discrimination against Raymond, which John Miller swept under the table as stress. I guess it's because they were golf partners. And John also goes to our church. We see him there every Sunday. But I didn't know how far Liz was willing to go at that time. She was prepared to go to the school, the dean of the school, and also to the University Human Resources Department to file a formal complaint. But John stopped him. She stopped her. And they joined together with Raymond, and he asked Raymond to give her a verbal apology and a promise not to do it ever again. Long story short, Raymond got his promotion. He got a promotion. He got tenured, right? He got a raise. He got a brand new fancy office along with a new title as Director of International Relations in the Political Science Division. So he was flying high. That was a year and a half ago. And since then, we put the boys, both Timothy and Paul, into Ivy League schools. And we bought that white elephant of a house, which was too much house and too much mortgage. I was stunned by the grace that John gave him. And when you look at that, you would think that Raymond would have been filled with gratitude and written a thank you letter. I don't think he even said thank you. I, as the wife, wrote a little note saying thanking John for all his friendship and support and just helping us get through that rough time. Even when I didn't know about the sexual misconduct complaint, it's just so crazy. And look at us now. What a rapid downhill spiral we've gone into. I mean, I guess Raymond's promotion and his theoretical protection by being tenured went to his head. And I guess he must have been harboring that anger and resentment against Liz, who at that point then, was a prominent senior in the political sciences department, getting ready to graduate. And of course, she had to take Raymond's capstone course before she graduated in May. So when she got into that class, he did everything he could to find ways to mark her down or to fail her, which of course compelled her to have to meet with him, to confront him about what he was doing and to protest what he was doing. Hindsight is 2020. And Liz should have brought a friend or some other majors or even another faculty member to meet with Raymond in his office when she did. And she should have protested when he closed the door behind her to his office. But when he did, as I understand it in the court proceedings, Raymond at that point threatened to fail her or to prevent her from graduating if she didn't give him what he wanted. And she burst into tears, as I understand it, and he yanked her into his arms, telling her he loved her and fondling her. Well, of course, thankfully she had the smarts to run out of that room and go directly to her advisor, who was another faculty member of the political science department, and they went directly to the university's human resources department to file a formal complaint for sexual misconduct and discrimination against Raymond. Bam! There it was. That was a year ago now. And look at us. Who would have thought this would end up in the courts? That Raymond would lose his job, that his tenure would be rescinded, that he would be blacklisted in academia. He will no longer work as a professor. That they would ask him to pay back all of the salary he received since his promotion, the $10,000 development money, and the money that he received in the paid sabbatical, along with a major fine from the judge who fined Raymond for psychological damages to Liz. And I just, the whole thing is beyond my comprehension. Watching that lawsuit and these court proceedings, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone as one student after another of Raymond's came in to testify for sexual misconduct and power play over them. I'm stunned. It was like they had lifted off a lid from a beehive. How am I? What do you think? I'm devastated. Absolutely devastated. And with Raymond serving time in jail now, I'm left with the bills. I'm left with paying the fines and the damages. What? On this adjunct salary of $8,000 with no health benefits? Both boys have had to drop out of school. We don't have a place to live. The house is out of our hands now. We lost the house. It's not sold. I don't even have money to file for a divorce. You tell me trust God. Trust God. You say forgive 70 times 7. Well, one day in my shoes right now and tell me to forgive with all my heart. I don't know. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I came here. I guess it was for the free food and be able to use your private bathroom. I am a lifelong Catholic. I've been praying the rosary daily since as far back as I can remember. But where is God now? Where is he? How can I forgive? But, Raymond is a perfect example of what happens to someone if they don't forgive. Look what came down from his evil machinations. Only someone psychologically damaged or wicked, actually flat out wicked, would do what Raymond did. And after receiving that act of grace from his chair, John, 3 years ago, you would think that something like that would change someone forever. That was such a close call. I don't know this man. He's not the man that I married. Forgive him. How am I going to forgive him? How do I find forgiveness now? I have to forgive him. I have to forgive or it's going to eat me to pieces. I have to forgive. Anyway, for the sake of my sons, and for the sake of my Savior.